right that there are two standout answers. One about risk and decision making, and the other one about delivering projects faster and cheaper. Now, those are really interesting threads that I think may come up as we go through this conversation. I'm just going to ask the panel what their immediate views are of that. I'm not wishing to put anybody on the spot, but Dave, I'm going to start with you, if that's okay. Just any immediate views in terms of that? Are you surprised?
Well, I guess two observations. One is I was umming and ahhing between the projects faster and cheaper and the risk and decision making, and so I'm really not surprised that it's risk and decision making that's come out on top. But what I'm also not surprised about, but I think is fascinating, is the 0% of board pressure, and I think when we talk about some of the challenges in introducing AI into project delivery, part of the problem is that senior leaders don't really know how it is all going to work, and so therefore very limited board pressure.
Fantastic. And I guess the thing about the risks and decision making, actually, it's almost an enabler to delivering projects faster in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I actually plopped for faster and cheaper, but I felt a bit dirty picking it because I didn't like the word cheaper. But it is about delivering projects, better, and so that's why I went for that one. But I think you're absolutely right. But if we focus in on the risks and key decisions, it will automatically lead to better project delivery. So yeah, good response there, I think.
Brilliant. And Tim, any views on that?
Yeah, I think much the same as Dave. It's unsurprising about board pressure. I think, from the work that you and I have been doing, Lloyd, you're aware that I almost had to drag the board kicking and screaming, A, to understand the concept, and B, to actually invest in it. But for me, I actually pick projects faster and cheaper. We're a service business. Customers always want it quicker and they always want it cheaper. But I get it's kind of a duality in it. Risk and decision making will help drive projects faster and cheaper. So you could have picked either one of those, really. And I suppose also interestingly, existing experience was zero. So it does prove that this is kind of, fledgling stuff that we're working on.
Yeah. It's interesting your point that you say about having to really facilitate the board, and you guys are all executives of major companies, so you're almost the sponsors of this type of stuff, and for me, we're talking about AI and project management, but we could be talking about any project really here. But getting a sponsor and somebody pushing a project forward is important on any project. I presume that you guys agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely, Lloyd. I think certainly for us, the project sponsor is the key role. If you haven't got that banner carrier who's driving forward and controlling scope and controlling direction and running the troops to get something delivered, then it is always an uphill battle without the right level of sponsorship.
Fantastic.
And I think bravery comes into that, and having a sponsor that's willing to enter into sort of the unknown when projects are at risk. I think that's a real challenge. And so if the project sponsor's brave enough to have an open mind and explore different avenues, then actually that's where change can happen. But one of the dangers is that people just do what they already know because it's proven. So I think that existing experience piece is again, I missed that. I think it's it does show that this is in new territory.
Yeah, it's the world of innovation. Stu, do you want to just come in with your view?
Yeah, so I guess it wouldn't surprise anybody that as a corporate PMO person, I went with risks and decision making. Like others on the panel have said, I mean, the existing experience, yes, this is brand new, isn't it? I mean, not new as a concept, AI, but certainly its application in project management, less experience there. but interesting, for me, experience is kind of one of the drivers. So our lessons learned and how we apply sort of past experience into future projects is often one of the areas that we're focused on in terms of ultimately managing risk, delivering projects in a better way, etc. And what I think AI has the capability to do is to help with the decision making and the learning around sort of actively applying some of those lessons from sort of past performance in a more evidence-based way. But at the moment, it's very early days. And like Tim and David said, I mean, board pressure is just this is something that we're looking at. How do we improve internally, and then we'll definitely engage with our seniors in terms of our board, in terms of why we think that's going to have a positive impact.
Excellent. So we need an education program for our board colleagues by the sounds of that conversation.